So 2-year-old is shot and killed, gunshot wound to the head, right? The mother, I stand in question of the mother, right? And I also stand in question of the boyfriend. Their involvement in the child being murdered, as in the shot and killed, right? 2-year-old. To be 2 years old and be shot and killed is to say no. There's no way for a 2-year-old to just shoot and kill themselves. There is possibility, but I don't think so. With this story, I feel something's wrong with the story, right? Pertaining to questions, right? I asked, was there abuse in the home, right? Also, was the boyfriend going to sell drugs on the night the child was killed, right? Drugs. The story pertaining to the child, right? Did someone kill the child? To be 2 years old is to say I don't think a child will pick up a gun at 2 years old and shoot and kill themselves in the head. For a 2 year old, a gun is quite heavy, wouldn't you think? The weight of a gun pertaining to a 2 year old, the child's weight, yes, the child's body weight, and also the weight of a gun. Oh, some people don't think of that. How heavy a gun is. Even the small fingers of a child's hands, right? Because usually some people, when they hold a gun, how a gun bounces back, bounces the body back, and all the rest, right? What child would think to pick up a gun and aim the gun at their own head or something, even if laying down or anything, and pull the trigger? Well, I'm going to lay down, and maybe that is a possibility. Maybe the child laid down and aimed the gun or something and pulled the trigger, but for how heavy a gun is for a 2 year old to hold a gun and pull the trigger. How heavy a gun is, period, for a 2 year old to hold. How small the hands are on a child to pull the trigger on a gun, right? What people don't think about. For a child to have tiny fingers and hands is to say, how did the child pull the trigger on the gun, right? So, a mother charged with child endangerment for the shooting death of 2-year-old of her 2-year-old daughter, right? After investigators determined the 2-year-old couldn't have killed herself, right? The shooting of the child took place back in February. Jessica Cantu, mother of the 2-year-old, said she heard a pop, then found her daughter with a gunshot wound to the head, right? The mother claimed she was in the bathroom when the 2-year-old was shot. The mother claimed she was in the bathroom when the 2-year-old was shot while laying on a bed, right? So that's where it stands in question about the gunshot wound to the head and the 2-year-old having small fingers and picking up and blowing her brains out, right? Did someone else shoot and kill the child is what I'm in question of, right? Medical examiner said the 2-year-old couldn't have shot herself because the gunshot wound was fired from a distance. Once again, medical examiner said the 2-year-old couldn't have shot herself because the gunshot was fired from a distance and not close to the young child, right? The 2-year-old's death was ruled a homicide from the gunshot wound, right? The gun belonged to the mother's boyfriend. That's where the abuse stands in question of whether there was abuse on end of the mother or the mother's boyfriend within the home. Did the mother or the boyfriend shoot and kill the child, right? She said she did not know the gun was within the home. That's what the person's mother said. The lies pertaining to the story of the mother. The mother said she did not know the gun was within the home. But the thing is, the person's mother, when it comes to the boyfriend, right? The mother bought the gun and her boyfriend carried it. But the mother said she did not know the gun was within the home. That's to say the mother and the boyfriend had something to do with the child being killed, right? Once again, the mother said that she did not know the gun was within the home, but it was found out later that the mother bought the gun and her boyfriend carried it. So the boyfriend was charged with being the charges pertaining to the charges. The boyfriend was charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm, right? The boyfriend is said to have been the duffel bag, right? The items that were around the child when the child was shot and killed. The boyfriend is said to have been packing a duffel bag on the same bed in which the child was shot on. So the bed was there, right? And the child was there on the bed as well as the boyfriend, I'm thinking placing items into the duffel bag. So is that how the child was shot and killed? Maybe the child was laying next to him and maybe he picked up the gun or something and then pulled the trigger and accidentally shot the child. That's where it stands in question. Some adult had to have shot and killed the child because of gun weight. I said that in the opening, the weight of the gun, right? So the boyfriend had plans to sell drugs at a motel on the same day the child was shot and killed, right? The boyfriend had planned to sell drugs that night, right? The boyfriend also said he did not own the gun. The boyfriend said he did not own the gun, but the mother bought the gun and her boyfriend carried it. So basically, that's to say the mother was the owner of the gun, right? Did the mother shoot and kill the child? The different questions, right? And as stated in the opening, the mother was charged with child endangerment. So who shot and killed the child? There was only two individuals in the environment, right? The mother was in the bathroom, and then you had the boyfriend and the mother also changed her story, and then the boyfriend was near the bed, right? The mother was in the bathroom. The mother was in the bathroom as the boyfriend was near the bed in which the child was laying on, the duffel bag and all the rest, right? Pertaining to the boyfriend. So who shot and killed the child and why? When I asked, was there any abuse? Could have been. We're on investigation discovery. The ID logo stands in the far left corner. Who would shoot and kill a 2-year-old child? Because usually, yes, when you shoot a gun, the bounce back with that, usually some people, depending on how small their body frame is, oftentimes people, when they shoot a gun, they would have to hold the gun with both hands. That's why it's questionable on a 2-year-old. Law enforcement will question that sort of thing, right? A 2-year-old shooting and killing herself and not holding the gun with both hands. A 2-year-old could pick up a gun and hold the gun with both hands, right? But the hands pertaining to the 2-year-old, would a 2-year-old pick up a gun and hold the gun with both hands like a bottle and then say aim the gun at their own head or aim the gun at their own face? That's where law enforcement question. 2-year-olds, ammunition, blowing out brains of a 2-year-old, right? How would a 2-year-old even know how to aim a gun? Right. Right, the gun. Okay, so the distance. Investigator said that there was no way that the 2-year-old could have shot and killed herself because the gun was fired by distance, by way of distance, right? Usually, if a 2-year-old was to hold a gun, where did the gun fall? For a 2-year-old to shoot and kill herself and blow her brains out is to say the gun would have had to lay near her or something, right? Okay, that's to say that somebody in the room or something would have placed a gun near her, if so. But based off of the distance, even investigators and all the rest, when it comes to investigation, would know the distance pertaining to an angle of a gun shooting, right? They said the gun was shot from a distance. So why did somebody within the home shoot and kill her? That's what stands the question. So dear viewers, let me know what you think and feel about this video. May you enjoy your day. I will in fact enjoy mine. Yes. And I'm gone for now. 1.